Hello beings, welcome to the experience. My name is Flamino, and today I'm going to show you what it was like to do the so-called Ganzfeld experiment. I'd like to ask for your help. Leave a like on this video because it's going to be a really cool video, you're going to like it. And comment that magic word, right? Pocahontas. First of all, what is this so-called Ganzfeld experiment? I think, from the video thumbnail, it must have looked like some really weird deep web thing, right? And it actually is. I found out about this experiment through Pedro Zita. He made a short TikTok quickly explaining what it was. If I'm not mistaken, it was a TikTok. I got really curious. I thought, man, what a crazy thing, right? Then I started searching on the internet and found it. Ganzfeld experiment, those weird images, really looks like something from the deep web, the ball on the eye with the tapes. Man, it's an ugly thing. How does the Ganzfeld experiment work? I'll grab my laptop to read it to you, so you know I'm not making things up. Okay, I found it. The coolest link is the one from Techmundo. To check it out, search Ganzfeld experiment on Google and visit the Techmundo article. It's well illustrated and cool. Tell me this isn't bizarre. Look at this. You see this image and think, man, I'm not gonna do this. That's not what I did, right, idiot? The Ganzfeld experiment is a very curious procedure, mainly used in parapsychological research. That's why skeptics worldwide have challenged it. But regardless of whether you believe in psychic powers or not, it seems common to think that there's no harm in trying. Sometimes it's better to let it go. Sometimes trying does cost something. After all you need to do it is a radio, a ping pong ball cut in half, and some tape. Of course, you don't need the radio. YouTube can do that for you. Before you start, turn on the radio without tuning to any stations. In other words, let it play the static noise, that known as white noise. Then, lie down on a couch or bed and use the halves of the ping pong ball to cover your eyes, securing them with tape. Until now, I don't understand why it had to be a ball cut in half. Just follow the instructions. According to the experiment description, after a few minutes relaxing under these conditions, you should feel a really strange kind of sensory disorientation. Frequent reports include hallucinations, such as seeing horses on clouds or hearing voices of deceased relatives. That part really worried me when I was about to do it, because I'm really scared of this whole entity thing. Anyone who saw my video about my first time at an Umbanda center knows how scared I am of this. This may be because the human mind craves sensations. By blocking these sensations with the radio and ping pong ball, your brain starts to invent some. So, basically, what is he explaining there? When you lose some senses, your brain adapts so you aren't entirely without them. It's weird. Let's start the experiment. I don't have a ping pong ball, but I know how to improvise. Since I used to really enjoy playing ping pong, I know I can use this ball here. I bought this just to get the ball. It's really hard. I'm afraid I might cut myself doing this. I put the knife in here, but the thing won't come out. Man, what's going on? Did I do it? Just wash it now? This is the small ball that will cover my eye. Man, this is the most random thing I've ever done in my life. Oh, damn. Oh, man, I cut my finger. Crap, what if I cut my other finger? I might finish this experiment missing a finger, and it could still go wrong, or I might not feel anything. I'm going to be really mad if I don't feel anything. Come on, let's do it. Man, this is so weird. I just found white noise here. Look how bizarre this is. Yeah, that's a television. Out of signal. Look, I'll even put it up close here, look. There you go. White noise for studying, calming. Man, I don't know who uses this to study, my god. Oh, I'm going to study. Let me look for some white noise here. Is it a problem if someone uses this? I've set it up to stick it to my eye. Let's see how this feels.
What a weird thing.
I'm gonna put this video in time lapse because I'm gonna try to resist this for as long as I can.
To notice any results.
Man, this is so weird. I'm really scared, man. Oh my god. I started listening. It took a while, I don't know. I can't say exactly when I started to notice anything. Man, you just hear static and can't see anything? It's like Constantino's hell, where time stands still. Afterward, I removed everything and checked the clock to see how much time had passed. I said, this can't be right, I spent more time listening to this. But actually, no. It's such an agonizing feeling that time seems to pass slowly. Maybe even worse than Constantine's hell. Alright, what were my first sensations? Right after I put it on, it felt normal. A few minutes went by. In my head, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes, but in reality, it was about 5. And the hissing started to turn into the sound of the sea. For me, it's really close to that, you know? And the hissing is... So, it's not that hard to associate that with the sound of the sea, right? The second step was to feel this audio as a vibration. It felt like there was a deep sound behind everything that went like this. You know when you hear a really deep beat and you feel it in your chest? Vibrating along with it? I was feeling that vibration, and that sensation started to turn into a physical feeling. I began to feel like my body was doing this, you know. It sounds silly to say, but until then, everything was fine. Those were the first sensations. Then, way in the background, I started to hear conversations. That's when things started to get scary. My breathing started to get heavier, which I realized later when I watched my own time lapse. But I was hearing a conversation that I couldn't understand at all. They sounded like voices, but you can't make out what they're saying. They even sounded like different people talking to each other, but never complete sentences, always just words, and you couldn't understand like it was. But the vision of the little ball in general made everything kind of opaque, kind of shapeless, you know? Even the X became kind of shapeless. It turned into a black blur. And in that black blur, I started paying attention to those little shadows we see. I've never told anyone this, but I see some little shadows, some little balls, and you can kind of control their movement. Yeah, in life, I hope I'm not alone in feeling this. I'm a bit embarrassed discussing something so random. And maybe it's an eyesight problem, right? There, I just looked it up on Google. I'm not the only one who sees floaters or little shadows. It's normal. Many people do. Pretty much everyone. Then I focused on the small shadows we can control with our eyes. And a lot of them started to appear with a little line like this, connecting them. I don't know if you guys have ever fully focused on this vision. Yeah, it's something you can see even with your eyes closed. You can actually see it even with your eyes closed. It's like a little shadow, I can't really explain it, it's like a tiny shadow mosquito. And after that I started hearing the sound of drums like they were really far away from me. It was getting closer, like a guy on a skateboard playing drums. And the skateboard was getting closer to me with him playing the drums, and it kept getting louder and louder. And it was coming from the left side. I don't know, it felt like it was coming like this, look. It kept getting louder on this side, like the skateboarder would pass right here. As it got really loud on the left, I heard a... Man, I got so scared at that moment. That feeling was so real, the scream from the guy who was playing the drum. I even took my eye off the ball and glanced left. That's crazy. Had I known it'd be like this, I would have recorded it wearing a diaper. I was even afraid to put it back on. I took a deep breath, like this. I told him to go while I stayed. If it happened again, I wouldn't remove it and would hold on as long as possible. I put the little ball in and was there, focused. I won't be afraid, I won't be afraid. And I kept listening. The sensations didn't repeat. That feeling of the sound of the sea, that feeling of being distorted, none of it happened again. Then I thought to myself, wow, there's so much to do just thinking about life. The brain is like this. You start thinking about things in life. I was there listening to the static and thinking. But then I started talking to my own voice. It was funny because my own voice was really loud, but I wasn't scared since it was mine. It wasn't a loved one, right? If it was my grandpa's voice, I'd be freaking out. So, all good? I was there talking to my own voice about some random stuff. And then my dad's voice came in, talking with me like he was defending the other voice of mine that was talking to me. And there came a moment when I just wanted to focus on my dad's voice. My voice and my other Douglas voice both started getting quieter. And I started to hear only my dad, who kept saying the same thing over and over, which was basically, "Don't go, son, your dad is leaving, don't go." He said that in a sad, pleading voice. And, well, I don't know if you guys know, but I recently moved out to live on my own here. And I was really close to my dad. I had a really good relationship with my dad, with everyone at home. But I think the deepest conversations I had with people in my family, I was with my dad a lot, so our relationship was always very good. But my dad wouldn't stop talking. That was it. "Don't go, son, dad is leaving." The phrase "dad is leaving" sticks with me. I kept thinking, man, why is dad leaving? I kept asking myself. Then I remembered about hearing the voices of loved ones who have already passed away. Then everything came together. "What do you mean my dad died?" Then I felt sad. "What do you mean my dad is leaving?" No, dad's not leaving, but I couldn't focus enough to silence the voice. I started to feel bad about it. It started to get out of my control, and still no sign of the unicorn I wanted to see. As for my vision, it was just the feeling of those little floaters, nothing major. And that thing about the father leaving with that sad voice, that really hit me hard. It was really hard to hear my father's voice like that. And I'm not someone who cries easily. But in that situation, like my father begging me not to leave because he was going away, to die there, it really upset me. And then I decided to stop right there so it wouldn't get worse, so I wouldn't make the situation worse. Since I didn't have control over what I wanted or didn't want to hear, I decided to leave. I preferred to stop recording. But I think it's interesting to show my vulnerable side, right? I've never shown it here before. And it's part of all these things. A lot of random things that I heard. It was my dad telling me not to leave the house, and I don't know, I'm going to do... Bro. It was really real, man. So overall, a very interesting experience. I didn't expect it to be so vivid, but I didn't like it. It was a very negative outcome. And since I'm a pretty emotionally stable guy, I felt bad for 5 minutes, then realized it was just an experience. I texted my dad everything was fine afterwards, but I felt bad during that time. So I don't recommend doing this experiment, because if I, who am a stable guy, felt bad for a while, someone who is depressed, for example, might, wow, hear the worst thing in the world, you know? The thing you least want to hear, you might hear, I don't know. I've been hypnotized once, there's even a video here on the channel, and the feeling after I took the little balls out of my eyes, and all when the hypnosis ended, is very similar. Because in hypnosis, you remember everything, but you realize afterward that you were being hypnotized and all. It was the same feeling. I remembered everything, but I knew it wasn't real, so I got better quickly. It didn't take me long to recover, because I knew it was all a product of my imagination. It wasn't related, it wasn't my dad's voice or anything. So it calmed me down quickly. So if you like this video, leave a like for me, it will really help my work. Come on, I suffered, don't I deserve a like? And if you know more of these brain hack experiments, comment here so I can try them. Or any other kind of experiment you'd like to see me try here on the channel. I'm open to new experiments, and see you next time for another experience. I was scared to hear from those so-called entities who had already passed away. It was everything I didn't want. I don't know, it could even blow up my testicles. Look how chill I am, but why listen? Entity, dude? I don't need to say it. I slept with all the lights on, scared of hearing the skateboard guy drumming. I slept with this thing right in my face. Look, this is my lighting. It's called a China ball. I slept like this, see?